Yesterday I did a recording where I posed the question, what is the government up to ignoring court orders? Obviously, when you're a government and you're ignoring court orders, not one, not two, but 13 court orders over the Muguna case alone, let alone the many other court orders the government just chooses to ignore, let alone the fact that internal CS Fred Matiang'i speaks to a parliamentary select committee with the press there and very arrogantly announces that some court orders the government will never follow, can never follow. And then this is followed by dozens of Jubilee MPs at a public rally supporting Matiang'i and saying that they are fully behind Matiang'i and telling the public that some court orders are just nonsense. Now that makes it very obvious and very clear that this is a strategy of the Jubilee government to ignore court orders. And so I asked the question, what is the end game? What does the government expect to achieve at the end of all this? Now, let us not be naive here, because there are those who think that this government does not know what they're doing. They don't have a plan. Now, I used to play soccer. Yeah, I also used to play another game called rugby. Yeah, but let's focus on soccer because everybody knows what soccer is all about. So I remember once we were playing a team, and as soon as we started the game, we noticed that they had a very interesting strategy. Yeah, they were kicking the ball out of play at every excuse. Yeah, you know, the ball goes loose. Yeah, people are trying to go for it. These people, instead of gaining control of the ball and passing it and developing a move, they just kicked it aimlessly, very high up in the air and usually out of play. And they did this again and again and again. So one would observe this, somebody who's naive, and say this other team are just useless. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. What kind of crazy strategy is this? Yeah? What do they hope to achieve by doing such crazy things? Yeah, just kicking the ball aimlessly. Do they intend to win this game? What are they up to? Oh, they must be. I don't know who their coach is, but these people have no idea what soccer is about. Yeah, this strategy is just too crazy. It cannot possibly have an objective. Yeah, it cannot achieve anything. Well, you would be very wrong, because the whole strategy here would be to disrupt the pattern. Yeah, because this other team knew that once we developed our game, yeah, short, crisp, accurate passes, yeah, good dribbling, they had no chance against us. So what they were actually trying to do is completely disrupt our game. And then remember, when the ball is kicked out of play, it takes a little time to get the ball back. Yeah, then somebody lines up to throw it in. Yeah, and all that is wasting time. And the clock is ticking. Yeah, time is not standing still. Very quickly, the 45 minutes will pass. Yeah, and in that 45 minutes, it's possible that a whole 30 minutes of it or more was wasted in either getting the ball or was wasted in the ball being very high in the air, out of play. Nobody's doing anything with it. Yeah, you get my drift. And then, of course, human beings are emotional. So you can expect that at the end of that first half, this other team used to short, crisp passes and dribbling are just totally frustrated. And if they let the frustration get into their head, they will never settle into the game. Yeah. So my point is this: as crazy as what the government is doing may look, they definitely have an objective. They definitely have a game plan. Yeah. There's something they want to achieve. Okay. And I'll tell you exactly what it is after the brief upcoming commercial break. See you in a bit. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Now it would seem that the Jubilee government have just gone mad, ignoring court orders, because we all know where that will take us. It will take us to anarchy. Because if the government cannot obey court orders, why should other people obey court orders? Yeah. Now who is the government? The government is headed by the President of the Republic of Kenya. This is not the MCA of our ward. Yeah. He's not the member of county assembly somewhere in a rural area making a decision and taking up a strategy and is totally mad. No. This is the President of the Republic of Kenya. He has the best advisors that money can buy. He is making decisions not based on the here and now, not based on today and next week. He is making decisions based on what is going to happen next year, and the year after, and the year after that. As I've often said on this channel, you cannot be the president of a country and be caught by surprise. You just can't afford it. Indeed, you cannot be a ruler anywhere and afford to be caught totally by surprise. You'll be out of power so fast, you'll not know what hit you. So even if you hate the Jubilee government very much, let's leave emotions out of this. And let's appreciate one simple fact, one truth. And that is, as crazy as any decision from the executive may sound, usually, not all the time, but more often than not, they'll be well thought out. Usually, they'll be very well thought out with an end game in mind, with an objective, a goal. They're going somewhere. With that in mind, let us now think in another direction. And let us start by asking ourselves a question. What is the whole plan here? What is the objective? Now everybody is talking about 2022. You can just not get politicians to shut up about 2022. No matter how hard you try, that 2022 will always crop up. Oh, this 2022. Oh, that 2022. Ruto 2022. Gosh. Anyway, despite all this, there is one immediate problem, much more serious. There's one immediate concern that is very urgent, before you even get to 2022, that needs to be considered, and it is related to 2022. And what might that be? Well, simply put, it's the exit strategy of one Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, this issue of exit strategy has become even more urgent and is going to shape our politics in a very major way in the next few weeks and months, and indeed in the next few years. It's going to be very, very critical. And a lot of decisions which we will not understand, which the public will not understand, are going to be made, and the chief driving force is going to be Uhuru Kenyatta's exit strategy. Now let's back up a bit in history so that we understand exactly what an exit strategy is. Now, as I've said before, get your mind very far away from the thought that when a president leaves office, they just hand over the keys, they hand over everything, government property, etc., etc., and then they walk away into the sunset, whistling and with their hands in their pockets. Nothing like that happens. Jacob Zuma was forced out of office before he had a good exit strategy in place. Look what has happened to him. He is before a court of law. He has been charged, and chances are very high that he'll be jailed. Of course, there's one of my fans here, one of the person who takes in this channel, who has pointed out a few political facts to me. The fact that the current guy in power owes Jacob Zuma a favor too, and therefore we should expect files to disappear. We should expect these charges to go absolutely nowhere. That's his view. Let's wait and see. Okay, but my point is, Jacob Zuma did not end up with did not have an exit strategy. And look what happened to him. Anyway, let's come back to Kenya and look at our history. Jomo Kenyatta did not need an exit strategy, because he died in office. Now, so far, the most elaborate exit strategy ever was that of a man called Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Now, I reported this very fascinating scene, in my Kumekucha blog, and I'm just going to repeat it here very quickly. Yeah, and this was the scene where President Moi, at that time he was serving his last few months in office, had a trip to Switzerland. Yeah, and he went to Switzerland with his son Gideon Moi. And according to very credible information, they went round Swiss banks, yeah, in an unmarked car. Nobody knew who these were, yeah. And what was the objective? They were visiting each and every bank, yeah. And it is said that there was some kind of transfer, yeah. Secret accounts, yeah, assets were transferred from father to son. Well, my information is that those assets were transferred from father to son and then on to another African country where they were deemed to be safe. Yeah, that was just one tiny part of the Moi exit strategy. Yeah, he had to protect his assets. Yeah, his wealth gained while he was in office against an overzealous government which would take over and maybe want to snatch away this from him. Yeah, freeze bank accounts, etc., etc. In my view, Moi was also preparing for the worst. Yeah, in case he was actually arrested and jailed, the assets of the family would be safe and in the control of somebody else. Anyway, the other part of Moi's exit strategy was to ensure that he had control over the person who took over office. Now, we all know that Moi had a project, yeah, and that was Project Uhuru Kenyatta, which failed because Mwai Kibaki was elected instead. Now, you can be sure that Moi's think tank also had a worst case scenario in mind. Yeah, in case Kibaki got elected, they knew exactly what they were going to do. Now, despite all these arrangements made by Moi, there's a time when he almost ended up in trouble. And let me remind you, I know also young Kenyans have no idea. What happened was that something started in Parliament. Yeah, a debate started in Parliament. And the whole idea was to pass a bill to charge the former president. Yeah, to charge the former president and even maybe to freeze his assets. Now, the Rift Valley MPs, yeah, and there are quite a number, were very strongly against that bill. They were very strongly against what these people were suggesting in Parliament. And in the end, that idea was killed by getting support, yeah, to kill it from a very unlikely source. Extremely unlikely. Yeah. The person who saved Moi, believe it or not, was one Raila Odinga. Yeah. He rallied his ODM troops and they defeated that idea kabisa. Now, this is a classic case of how the political class look after each other. Yeah. They might be very much against each other in public. They might have different views in public. But when push comes to shove, they'll protect each other. Yeah, that's a fact. They'll always protect each other. Now, I see I've run out of my time, so we'll go on to a part 2. Make sure you catch it because I have a lot more interesting things to tell you about what is happening on the local scene and how it is related to the past. Yeah, make sure you catch me there. You know the usual drill. Look out for the link on your top left-hand corner of the screen. Click on it and you should be there within no time. This is Kshs Kumekucha.